The Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5. The Game.
And welcome into the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. Tyler Head, Chris Clark, and Wes Mitchell along with you this morning. Today's special guest from the Gamecocks football team, Dakereon Joyner. And I was talking about with Kendall in the last segment. I don't even know what position to categorize you as because you've played so many in your time as a Gamecock. As a Gamecock, we'll just kind of call you a jack of all trades, I guess. Currently you're a running back, but you've literally done everything in your time here, right?
Yes, jack of all trades. Definitely is a category for it. But I just consider myself an athlete, man.
So Shane Beamer, when the news first came out about you playing some running back, he said in a press conference that you're still a receiver. But have you officially now? Would you officially say your transition to running back? I mean, you took like every snap there in the spring. All your snaps.
Yeah, not for sure. I wouldn't really say that because I'll still be able to play in the slot and stuff like that and give a bunch of different looks.
Yeah.
But I did spend most of my time at running back during the spring. Just kind of get my feet wet with it. Being able to get comfortable at the position, but I don't think I'm considered a full-time running back just yet.
Yeah, I mean, you're still, if this means anything, you're still listed as a wide receiver on your Gamecocks online bio.
That's cool.
I don't think it means a lot.
That's cool, yeah.
But we don't have a position for Dakereon. We definitely don't have a depth chart still or anything like that.
I'm gonna just tell them to change it to athlete. Put athlete on the website. I think that's best.
If Steve Fink's listening, put
just football player. You're just a football player.
Football player. I think that's even better. That'll work.
I was going to say we just put DK. Like, instead of WR, let's just put DK. Like,
or that.
You're your own guy, own position.
I'll take it.
I do like how Coach Beamer, he completely slow-played this move to, like, when we first got in there, he's like, oh, I mean, he's going to take some snaps at running back. We're sitting there like, okay, he's with the running backs every practice we get to.
As he should, though. That's what the head coach is supposed to do.
Completely slow-played it. But what is the difference, man, between running the football as a quarterback, and I mean, like, literally, like, take us in your helmet. You're getting the ball directly snapped to you at running back, and then watching the play develop, versus like taking that handoff, keeping your eyes downfield, letting a play develop in front of you. Is there a difference? Is there an adjustment from kind of doing it from one spot versus the other?
A little bit. But not much because I mean I'm kind of used to running in between the tackles. Yes, taking a snap from the center itself at quarterback is a little different. But I mean it kind of feels natural, man. It really wasn't a difficult transition for me. I wouldn't say during the spring, so I kind of picked it up kind of quick. I think because of my history being able to run between the tackles as a quarterback. So it hasn't been much really of a difference. Yes, I got to slow down a little bit more. Kind of dissect the front and stuff like that a little more kind of pre-snap. But it's been a pretty smooth transition.
Has it been fun?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, it's definitely been super exciting for me, man. It allows me to play a little faster. It allows me kind of just to, mentally, like I said, just mentally play faster, man. And that's kind of what I want.
Did you surprise yourself a little bit even as, like, just how easily you made that transition, how natural you looked?
1,000%.
Really?
Because, I don't know why. Just kind of being a guy, I've done a lot of different things, but just kind of making that transition, I was very, very nervous about it. I didn't know how I was going to pan out, but after the first day, whenever I kind of started seeing a little, not seeing a lot, kind of slowing my mind down a little bit, I was able to kind of play even faster, and I think I transitioned pretty smooth, so I definitely surprised myself.
I always like, honestly, when guys say that they're nervous. I think Josh Vann told us that, like, anybody who says they're not nervous, like, before a game is lying. I mean, like, everybody has nerves. Like, even you guys have nerves. But was there a moment in practice or, like, maybe something you did, whether it was picking up a block, whether it was a run you made where you were like, I think I can do this, like, more than you thought?
Day two of spring ball, I think just from my jump from day one to day two, man, me just watching tape all the time, just seeing how instead of looking at whole picture, like I say, because Coach Hardesty says it, see a little, see a lot, see a lot, see a little. So being able kind of just to be more detailed, man, from day one to day two, and just being able to see my explosiveness on tape from the running back position really, really surprised me.
Do you like being versatile, kind of being the Swiss Army knife? And you've obviously been in South Carolina for a while now, or would you have maybe preferred to have spent your entire career at one position?
I definitely would have preferred to stay at one position, just so, my development would have been more efficient, I think, at a specific position. But, everything happens for a reason. I'm just kind of, paving the way for other guys coming behind me. I guess it is what it is. I've kind of accepted it at this point. But now I'm full on with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful to be the Swiss Army knife, because that does nothing but, help me in the future. Put a lot on my resume for NFL coaches and stuff like that to see.
You were obviously recruited as a quarterback, and that's where you started, and probably still going to do some of those things even this year. But now that you've been at running back, given what you just said, is there a part of you that's like, man, if I was recruited as a running back out of high school, like, where could I be right now in my development? Yeah,
1,000%. Especially seeing how, I've kind of transitioned in 15 practices, man. I told my brother Ernest Jones, who plays for the Rams, I said, man, I kind of wish I'd been made this transition first thing after quarterback. But, everything happens for a reason, man. I'm grateful to be in the spot.
I want to go back to, like, the actual sort of logistics, mechanics of running the football at running back again. How much of it is sort of actually, like, kind of see hole, hit hole versus reading blockers and trying to sort of maybe even start to look to the next level? Like, how much of it is more like instincts versus this is what Coach Hardesty has told me in the film room to look out for, I guess?
It's crazy because the first day I was kind of just, like, going off of instincts. And, day two, I kind of slow my mind down and realize what he was teaching me and what he was telling me. And then going back to that, reading fronts and stuff like that, kind of reading three techniques and kind of the scheme of things. Whenever I got to really listening to what he was coaching, that's when I made my jump. And I immediately started playing faster. Whenever I can read the defense and then read first and then react, let my instincts take over. That's kind of what he says. And once I took that in, I was able to play a lot faster, man.
Do you have a favorite run play now?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it on air though, because everybody else is probably like, oh, that's what they're gonna do the most when they're in there. But I definitely have a favorite.
But you do have one.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the coaches know one of my favorite runs too. Yeah. So.
Okay, I got you. That's cool, man. So
gotta stay fair. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta keep. I don't.
Hey,
we're all in this together.
You should have just gave us the wrong favorite. Play some chess there.
Next level.
Give us the opposite play. What is it like? I know Coach Hardesty's like high energy guy. You're learning from a guy who I don't know if he's throwing his tape on, but he was pretty good at Tennessee back in the day.
That's what I heard.
You ain't watched him?
Nah, I ain't watched the tape yet.
He had that spin move.
Yeah, he's got a little spin move.
I did see the spin move.
I think it was against Carolina.
It probably was.
Yeah.
He sent that in the group chat. That was smooth.
What did y'all respond? Did y'all answer?
Yeah, I was like, you actually look like an athlete. So that kind of surprised me a little bit.
You ever challenge him to put the pads and the helmet back on and get out there with you guys?
Nah, I think he too old for that, man. That's why he stopped playing early.
He is in pretty good shape though.
No,
you want to give him a little credit.
Looks like
he looks like he can still go.
Yeah, I mean, at least he looks like it. I mean, I guess we'll never know though.
But in all seriousness, learning from a guy now who did play it in the SEC level, played that position, that's got to be somewhat helpful that he has been literally in your shoes, kind of.
Yeah, not for sure. Just kind of even just being in that room for a little bit, just being able to just learn from a guy who's very detailed. He's very, very detailed, and I learned too, kind of from day one to day two, that he knows what he's talking about. If you just listen to him, it all work out for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of different for me, man, coming from a different room. But I really embrace his coaching style, man. Very, like you say, high energy, but very detailed.
All right, so another geeky question about, like, quarterback runs versus running back runs. So zone read plays.
Yeah.
You don't have to say because you wouldn't say earlier, but I assume y'all have zone read plays in the playbook now. We're just going to presume that. More difficult, zone read as a quarterback, making that decision, or as a running back?
I guess definitely as a quarterback, because I guess as a running back, you don't really, you're
not the decision maker.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, it's kind of really definitely quarterback, man, because you really got to read that, especially playing versus guys like Nolan Smith, fast end and stuff like that. So that's definitely difficult. As a running back, man, you just slow play it and until he give you that ball, and then you roll it.
I felt like down the stretch last year, the offense, but not just the offense. I felt like you personally, outside looking in, I think maybe you got completely healthy at that point. But did you feel like your game and just your comfort level and your health too, obviously, kind of just went to another level? Maybe those final, I don't know, 4 or 5 games of last season.
For sure. I was kind of talking to him about it. I was saying like, I wasn't healthy. I mean, that's just kind of that's the God's honest truth to it. But definitely that last stretch, man, I was able to, not even be completely healthy, but get myself to a point to where I was rehabbing every single day, kind of taking care of my body more to get myself able to play. You know what I'm saying? Play and play faster. And I was telling Chris earlier, I was like, that Vanderbilt game, that's whenever I started, getting my feet back, being able to play. And kind of get back to myself. And after that Vanderbilt game and on from there, I was able to roll, man, and play like myself.
And when we were talking about that off air, like, I didn't realize that you still in the spring were, it's fair to say, probably not 100% even in the spring.
Not at all.
So, but Wes and I talked about this last year, not even the Vandy game, the Florida game where you had the touchdown on special teams.
Yeah.
I felt like that was the most explosive that you looked like
for sure.
so far that season, but you even carried some of that health into spring. So what you're saying is you're even better now than you were like even this spring.
Oh yeah, like I was telling someone earlier. If you know, you know what I'm saying. Now, I mean, if you know what I had to go through this spring, and you know how I am now, I'm 100% healthy now. And I was telling Chris earlier too. I was like, man, I kind of forgot how it feels to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my trainer. Shout out to everyone that take care of us. I'm back feeling like myself, man, and I pray God continues to keep me healthy because I forgot how I felt, man.
All right, we'll keep the conversation going with Dakereon Joyner on today's edition of the Garnet Trust Hour on the other side here on 107.5 The Game.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Even better than I was the last time, baby. Ooh, 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 ooh.
We back.
And welcome back into the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. South Head Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell along with you. Today's guest, Dakereon Joyner from the Gamecocks football team, talking about you playing the running back position so far this spring. And the reason you were moved there was the lack of depth that that room had. And we've heard from Coach Hardesty a couple of weeks ago in one of his media availabilities just completely downplaying the fact that it's the lack of depth, saying that every running back room deals with this across all landscapes of college football. In that room, is there a presence felt of maybe not having as many guys in that position group as some of the others, or is it something that's just not really an issue?
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, the guys that's in that room, I think we're very confident in the guys in that room. I don't think we look at it as a lack of depth purposes either. I think, we all think of each other as high caliber guys too. Not even from a competition level, but even a depth standpoint. We feel like we got enough guys to go compete. You know what I'm saying? So, guys in the room, me, Mario Anderson, Juju, Bradley Dunn, all those guys, man, we feel pretty confident in the room.
Was there any weirdness or awkwardness entering a new room at the very beginning? Or the fact that, you've been, not Mario Anderson, obviously, he just got here, but like Juju, you've been around him a ton. Some of those other guys, I'm sure like you're pretty well known within the team itself. But was there any weirdness, like looking around and be like, all right, I'm in a different place now?
Yeah, nah, for sure. I kind of felt some weirdness. But the good thing is, what I'm grateful is those guys was very accepting me pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was definitely a smooth transition, being able to come into the room and kind of gel with the guys. It was kind of funny too, though, because I know Mario Anderson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I helped recruited him to get here too. You know what I'm saying? So I was recruiting him from a wide receiver standpoint. But now we're kind of in the same room, so it's kind of weird at first. But it's all good though, man. It's all love.
You think Coach Stepp misses you?
1,000%. 1,000%. No doubt.
Does he text you and say,
all the time?
Come on, come back.
Every day he'd be like, damn, I miss my guy, man. I miss my guy. So, yeah, all the time.
So, since you recruited Mario Anderson, he's from, Low Country as well.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him? What did you see from him this spring coming in?
I mean, even before the spring, I kind of knew what kind of player he was. He was very, very explosive, very powerful runner. And everything, he put on tape and showed he brought to us, you know what I'm saying, in the running back room. And this spring he showcased that. He was able to display that every single day. So I'm excited to continue to see him progress, especially the way he kind of picked up the plays and stuff like that. He's progressed very, very well every single day. So I'm excited to see him go forward.
So am I mistaken that you said one of the guys that you had watched a lot, especially after you moved to running back, wasn't Bijan Robinson one of them?
Oh, yeah,
from
most
Texas?
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So super high draft pick
Oh,
just
yeah.
now. You don't see that a lot nowadays. One of the questions that we have from the Insiders Forum on GamecockCentral.com is, number one, is there anybody you model after from college or the pros? So tell us about that. And then how would you describe your own running style?
Yeah. I think first and foremost, kind of growing up, Reggie Bush. I was a Reggie Bush fan. I was a LaDainian Tomlinson fan since day one. I love their style of play. I kind of also like Alvin Kamara for sure because his versatility, man. He's very versatile. He kind of run inside the tackles, outside the tackles, and run routes. Bijan Robinson, a jack of all trades. He does everything. He's a guy that I like as well. But I was talking to Mario Anderson about this, who kind of describing my style of play. It's like I want to kind of be like those guys. I kind of got some of those, tactics. But Josh Jacobs, I think that's a lot of people kind of don't say that. Josh Jacobs or like Jonathan Taylor, because those guys kind of got some power behind them, but definitely got some elusiveness too. So kind of the Josh Jacobs kind of feel Jonathan Taylor, kind of that.
I'll tell you what, if you put all those guys in a pot, mix it up, and if you can be like that, you'd be doing all right for yourself. Yeah. You covered about everything you can cover on that.
So
Sure.
I'm glad you brought up Reggie Bush, though, man, because I feel like
So I wear that 5. So I started off wearing that 5.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Day one.
Okay, so I feel like you're about the age where it's kind of a cutoff. Like anybody a good bit younger than you, it starts to get to the point of they don't really know how good Reggie Bush was.
Exactly.
They didn't get to witness it.
You know why? Yeah, definitely. I think it's a generation thing, but like I'm definitely the cutoff because like I remember Reggie Bush, but I don't remember a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I remember enough to know he's one of the best backs to play for sure.
At Southern Cal, like he was good in the NFL, but him in college.
Oh yeah.
And that play where he took off and then he cut the flip going into the end zone.
Sideline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how, because you had him and Vince Young on the field at the same time.
And Lindale White.
I was real young.
Lindale White.
So do you remember watching those, or do you just remember clips from?
I just remembered clips and kind of remember that kind of era. I was super, super young, but I kind of just remember like hearing the buzz kind of. Those are the first guys at college football that I kind of remember. Like, hearing those names.
Those are fun times, I feel like.
Are you talking about, DK, you talking about the side where he stops on the sideline? Y'all remember that?
I do remember that play.
I was talking about the flip,
The
though.
flip.
Yeah, the flip on
There's
the
so
side.
many of them. It's like, which one of the 8 million plays that he made?
Human highlight tape.
Yeah, he was a video game. Like, so
Easily.
crazy good. But Vince Young, too, being a quarterback, did you?
Vince Young. Well, I didn't really have quarterback aspirations then, so I was kind of just
Really?
on that Reggie Bush kind of train.
Yeah.
So yeah, but kind of looking back, like kind of a couple years later, kind of looking at the Vince Young era and looking back at his tape, he was a dog too, for sure.
So what you're telling us is back then, it was just meant to be for you to end up being a running back.
I swear because I started my career as a running back. I swear to you,
Full circle.
I started as a running back, and I guess I'm gonna. I don't want to say end it as a running back, but kind of playing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So let's ask a couple quarterback questions here. I was actually talking to Marcellus Dow the other day, and I said, give me a player on offense that maybe people aren't talking about enough as far as like how much he's improved. And his answer is funny. He said Spencer Rattler, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Is that, you agree?
Yeah. 1,000%. I don't think people, we see it every single day because we work with them, but I mean, I think you see it. I think I won the most improved, but I think he won an MVP this spring.
Offense,
yeah, because he was. I mean, being with him every single day, like he's transitioned, big time. He's playing more confident, playing with a little bit more swag. All his attributes are starting to go up even more and more and more. And I love to see it because you start to see it towards the end of last year. Him really starting to get into his groove. Him really starting to play like himself. And I believe Coach, we call him D-Lo, Coach Loggins, allowing Spencer to play like himself. Allowing him to relax, take control of the offense, and kind of be him.
Yeah, it seems like Coach D-Lo has done a good job of just settling in with all of you.
Yeah, letting us play, man.
Yeah, he's the new guy.
Yeah.
But it seems like he's done a good job just outside looking in of like bringing in some of the stuff he wants to do, but not just reinventing the wheel. What have just being in the room, being in the building, what can you tell fans about Coach, just as a coach and just as a personality, as a person?
Yeah, very, very laid-back kind of guy, but he demands a lot, and I think it's easy to respect him and kind of accept what he demands. He brings a lot of tools to us that we appreciate a lot, but, he's bringing his style of play, but also allowing us to play freely as well, kind of bringing his style of play, allowing us to adjust to it, but, finding out what we're really, really good at, and letting us run the show. You know what I'm saying? He kind of, like I said, put the plays in, but allowing us to run the show and allow Spencer to take over. You know what I'm saying? So,
Dakereon Joyner hanging out with us today for the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. We'll be back on the other side with more.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
And welcome back into the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. Tyler, West, and Chris along with today's special guest, Dakereon Joyner from the Gamecocks football team. And we mentioned Dow Loggins, D-Lo, as everybody likes to call him now, just before the break there. And the whole conversation about him coming in as the offensive coordinator has been about streamlining the offense, simplifying things a little bit for everybody. What's that looked like from your perspective so far?
Yeah, like I said, D-Lo has done a good job of kind of bringing what he has and kind of what we already had and kind of joining the two. But definitely finding an even kill of, finding out what we do well, you know what I'm saying, and kind of harping on that a lot. So he's done a good job of allowing us kind of just, accepting him and him accepting us and kind of just allowing us to play.
Let's go off the field a little bit here to carry on. It is May. This is like the 1 month y'all have to kind of reset a little bit mentally, physically. But what does that look like for you personally right now as far as what you're doing to kind of reset, like I said, but also keep yourself ready, obviously, for June?
Yeah, not for sure. The month is May. Definitely full-time dad, for sure. Daddy daycare, for sure. In the morning time, I try to get up kind of early still and get my rehab in and make sure my body is still kind of taken care of. But most of the day, man, I'm being a dad, man.
Yeah, I wanted to go that direction anyway. Yeah. So, first of all, congrats to you, man. That, man. Very happy for you. 2 months old now.
Yep, sure enough.
What is that? What has that whole thing been like?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been exciting, man. It definitely has its days. But it's the most beautiful thing in the world, man. I wouldn't trade the world for it. She came in my life at a perfect time. Everything happens for a reason, man. I'm grateful to have her by my side, man, because she keeps me going every single day.
You posted that photo on Twitter of the fans had sent y'all from y'all's registry.
Oh yeah, baby registry. Yeah, I was very grateful for everything everyone sent me, man. I'm talking about from my whole door to the top of my porch. It was loaded, man. But I definitely appreciate that, man. If I haven't told you thank you, man, I appreciate it so much because that meant a whole lot to me and my family for sure.
So we had Josh Van in a couple weeks ago, who's also a dad. You lean on anybody like him or any other players for advice on the dad life?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially whenever I first found out that my little girl was going to be a part of my life. Especially when I found out she was a girl, for sure. That's the first person I went to. But he always gave me, man, good insight, man. It was kind of like how to, being a dad, that kind of whole insight and how you going to have your days and stuff like that. But definitely having someone to kind of bounce ideas off early on definitely helped benefit me a lot.
It's easy to be cynical just in the world in general right now, but seeing that picture of just that stack of gifts, that was special.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool.
That's what I appreciate it so much because you don't see that happen often.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been so grateful for, what Gamecock Nation has done for me, the amount of respect they show me, man, and kind of love they showed me. So I'm definitely appreciative for them.
You obviously have aspirations of going to play in the pros once your year here is finished, but it seems like you've kind of put down some possible long-term roots in Columbia in this area.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Is that you want to stay here, long-term probably?
That's kind of a hard question to answer, but, my roots are here, man. Like you said, I've definitely, grown some roots here and someplace I would never want to leave forever, man. But definitely kind of staying here, man. I went back home in Charleston for the first time in, I want to say 6 months.
Yeah.
My first time going back, man, and I was like, dang, man, I kind of think I want to come back home, eventually to stay because it's growing so much, man. And I'm like, home is always home, man.
When we had Josh in here, like Tyler said, so we were talking about your story about forgetting the diaper for the doctor's appointment. Now, Josh said that he had one of his own. They had like packed up to go somewhere, and he forgot the pack and play.
Oh man,
That's the problem.
and that's probably Jenna whole thing. She probably left her little pack and play
Oh,
too.
you got to. But
Yeah.
so first question: do you have any like secret weapons for your daughter that you use? Because we had some raising mine where something they need to sleep in or like a scheduling thing. Do you have a secret parenting tip / weapon? And do you have any more updates of things you've forgotten or not done?
Well, honestly, like it's going like 2.5 weeks of me kind of just watching her all day, kind of that daycare thing. So I'm kind of still trying to figure out like what's her little tactic. But one thing I do know that she loves when I hold her. So that's a good and a bad thing. Like sometimes I can't put her down because she always wants me to hold her. But like I also telling Chris earlier, I was like, man, she's a girl. She's definitely a daddy's girl. She doesn't want. She always want to look at my face throughout the day. She don't nap. She's always looking at me and want to be up with me. So, but yeah, that's about it, man.
Has it been what you expected?
It definitely has been. People always say about the beautiful things of being a parent, but no one kind of speaks on the hard things. It's hard too. It's really, really hard too. No one ever told me about how hard it was, but yeah, it's definitely hard. But I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, you've been on quite a journey at South Carolina, man. Did you? I don't know why I just thought about this, but did you ever think when you signed with Carolina that you'd be signing 300 Mayo bottles?
Not a chance. Not a chance at all. Man, people always remind me, like every other day I get reminded of the Mayo Bowl and kind of just that whole experience, man, and that era that we went through for a little while. That was definitely an era, man. No doubt.
How early or how much prior to the game did you know you were starting at quarterback or that you were going to play a huge role at quarterback?
What is it? We played Clemson that week, and we had like a week off. Like the second week of December, the end of the first week of December, I knew it was going to go on. I'm glad we kind of kept it under wraps. I'm surprised that nowadays we can't keep nothing a secret now, but we kept it under wraps. But I kind of knew what I was going to do. Like I already knew it. The world just didn't know. Like, in my head, I knew what I was going to do.
Yeah, North Carolina was obviously completely unprepared.
Well, I was going to say you can't keep things under wrap now because it's their job to pry that information out of y'all.
Well, no. I was going to say, I'm not just saying this. I knew you were playing quarterback that week.
For real?
But I knew 100% that if I tweeted that or put it on the internet, Beamer was going to be ticked.
Oh, yeah. 1,000%.
So
yeah.
people don't realize, some media people will just throw whatever out there.
Yeah.
But also for your long-term health of, not physical health, but your long-term health in the media world, not ticking a coach off
will save you a little bit.
Will save you a lot down the road. So
another question that came in, this one from Twitter from Cocky Faithful, the Carolina Faithful. What moment are you most proud of while being at USC? Is it that bowl game or is it something else?
Yeah, man. I guess I gotta go bowl game. I mean, that's without a doubt. I want to the second favorite, Georgia 2019. My first experience. But number one, I gotta go do Mayo Bowl, man. That was like my dream come true. That's what God was preparing me for my whole entire career here, all ups and downs. But God allowed the world to see who I was that day, man. And everything happens for a reason.
We got a tweet here I wanted to share from Jay Frew, Cocky Texan 77. He said, "Can we go ahead and give DK the key to the state? What a great ambassador and representative of Gamecock Nation and Gamecock athletics. First ballot Hall of Famer here and in the Book of Life." So
that's big
wow.
time. Wow. I guess that's a hell of
special words.
Yeah, for sure, man. Shout out to him, and I appreciate that. That's definitely a huge compliment.
Great compliment.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that.
The Book of Life.
Off of that, given that you've been here for so long, you've literally done everything that's been asked of you. You're going to be a beloved figure from this fan base forever, no matter what you do after your time at South Carolina. Like, when do you realize that? When did that kind of set in for you that, like, man, I'm going to be a name that people are going to know for a long time around here?
Honestly, like, me just kind of being who I am and kind of how humble I just naturally am, like, I kind of still, like, I don't know, man. I still don't kind of think, I don't even think of myself like that, but, I kind of get reminded every single day, man, and it's never a dull moment, man, and people constantly remind me. That still really hasn't hit me yet, to be honest. But the more I go out, man, the more love people show, it kind of starts to hit me, man. But, yeah.
All right, hit one more break, come back and wrap up today's edition of the Garnet Trust Hour with Dakereon Joyner here on 107.5 The Game.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
And welcome back into the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. Tyler, West, and Chris, and today's special guest, Dakereon Joyner, hanging out with us for a few more minutes here. And Dakereon, we staple of the Garnet Trust Hour is always asking our guest about their food preferences. So if you're not having to worry about your diet for football or anything like that, what is your go-to meal that you're going to eat?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna go right down the street to Longhorns. I got this whole, I eat it sometimes now. I get the spicy chicken bites for appetizer. And I go chop steak with loaded mashed potatoes, man. I ain't gonna lie, that or I go to Wayback Burger on Sunset Boulevard in Lexington.
Pretty solid.
Those are my two spots.
Do you eat pretty clean otherwise, or are you one of those guys that can kind of just eat whatever you want?
I try to. I ain't gonna lie. I'm kind of like 50-50. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm starting now to trying to get into the more clean aspect of eating and my nutrition and stuff like that, kind of just so I can take care of my body more. I think that's a big thing on that too. So I'm starting to get into that eating more clean aspect.
It's hard.
It is. I feel like when I eat healthy, bro, I don't get full. I still be hungry.
Yeah,
that's a bad thing. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
So more questions from GamecockCentral.com, the Insiders Forum. Here's one that's kind of a honest, maybe a little bit hard question, but you've talked about this in the past, so I'm going to ask it. First of all, it says, we appreciate you as a player, student, and man. Thank you for what you've done for us. Why have you stuck with Carolina with the lack of playing time throughout your career? And so you can loop into that, like, right, the position changes.
Yeah.
A lot of, it's a conversation every year. Wes and I always field questions about it pretty much every week of the season. Why isn't Dakereon playing more quarterback? Why isn't he playing more of this? But you have stuck it out now for year 6, so why is that?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know, man. Like, I guess since day one, my granddad and my dad always taught me, you always finish what you started. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of leaned on that. And I don't know, God is always, I'm a praying man, and God is always just, I don't know, he always tells me to stay around. There's always bigger and better things coming for me, which I'm super, super grateful for, man. And God has done just that. Every single year I kind of, deal with that. Coaches not really knowing how to use me. I think that's been my biggest thing in my career, not knowing how to use me properly. I think that's the default that I've kind of failed from, but kind of had problems with. But coaches not being able to know how to use me and my skill set.
What do you have in store for us for this season?
How I feel, a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? My last year, this is the most healthy I've ever been in since, like, I feel like 2019 for real, man. So God has blessed me right now, and I know God got a lot of things in store for me this upcoming season, and I'm looking forward to it.
I was about to say, so this is it.
Yeah, no, this is it.
No more eligibility after this, right?
I was telling AB, Amarian Brown about it. I was like, boy, this is it, boy. This ain't. Is no more after this, man. So I was talking to my mom also. It's my last 7-8 months in Columbia, man, and I'm taking it all in right now. It's kind of bittersweet, man. My time coming to an end, but
given the fact that you came in in 2018,
yeah.
I mean, obviously there's been a lot of turnover in the program itself. But what's the biggest difference of where you were when you came here and where you are now?
Me personally, man, I mean, I would have to go, my mental aspect, my growth as a man, my growth as a young man, how much I've, grown so much mentally, you know what I'm saying, being able to how adversity has changed me and shaped me into the man that I am today. I've always been a wise guy. Shout out to my mother and my family for instilling that into me. But, kind of just my growth as a man throughout these years has definitely surprised me.
Let's ask you about some of your teammates before we let you go. So, one of the other questions from the Insiders Forum from Birdie, coming out of the spring, is there anyone on the team that may surprise us this fall? Maybe somebody that's not being talked about quite as much.
I guess this is not cliche to say, but I won't speak on him too much. Spencer Rattler, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people this year. Besides that, TJ Sanders. I don't think nobody talking about him right now. But boy, I've dealt with him every single day. I think TJ Sanders is going to surprise a lot of people, man. His playing style, his aggressiveness, how good he is, how much he's developed over these last couple months, man. But TJ Sanders is a name that no one's talking about right now.
How has pass pro been playing running back? I mean, at quarterback, they don't ask you to block TJ Sanders. So.
Nah, definitely not, man. But, from a pass pro standpoint, from a mental aspect, it's been smooth, kind of because I've been a quarterback, so I can understand it. The physicality of it, I thought that was going to be my biggest, that was my biggest worry, not even going to lie, that in the physical aspect of running back, but that's not even a worry anymore. I physically can do it. I don't know how, just naturally being able to do it. But it's been smooth, man.
So you mentioned AB earlier. He is, we thought, the fastest guy on the team, and maybe you'll say he still is, but he had the race with Nicky. Who is the fastest guy on the team, even if it's not one of those two? That's another question from the Insiders Forum.
If not those two, Xavier Leggett.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Zay might be the fastest on the team, to be real.
We got to have a race.
That's my, yeah. But before Nick Harvey get here, we got to have a race, right?
Well, it depends on the distance with Nick.
That is
so.
Yeah,
so if you're going 60 meters, or if you're going 100 yards against Nick, you might as well just have a seat. You're not going to win. But a 40.
I like Xavier Leggett. I ain't going to lie.
Did you see the video?
AB and Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen it. I think AB had on sweats too, right? I think AB had on sweats. I don't know.
Does that matter, you think?
Yeah, it matters.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
just that little bit he lost.
That's at least a tenth of a second right there.
Sure. Yeah. Nick is faster. Shout out to Nick. But I think AB, man. AB had the fastest GPS record. I mean, was it miles per hour, whatever. And it was 23 miles per hour. Anybody hit that. So until someone else hit 23, then AB my fastest guy.
Okay, that's a good point. That's in pads? Or was that just like out there running on
training?
Okay. Well, still, it doesn't matter. That's
you got to downplay 23 miles an hour, Chris?
yeah. Right.
Whatever. Nah, that's still great. What about strongest guy on the team? That can be weight room or just like on the field, like just looks super strong.
We look super strong, Pup Howard. Pup been working here for 5 years. That boy Pup Howard, from what I've seen, he's strong too. We got a lot of strong guys, man. Got some old linemen. Got like Jalen Nichols and those guys. I like Pup Howard, man. It's just the way he looks, man. He's strong, too.
Let me ask you about another quarterback, because you've been talking about Spencer, rightfully so, but you're one of the best quarterbacks we've seen come out of this state, but there's another one that just came out that's now a Gamecock, Lenora Sellers. Give us some insight on his game.
Yeah, the boy Lenora, he going to be the truth, man. I ain't going to lie. I don't want to put that high ceiling on him right now, but from what I've seen, man, he got all the attributes to be a great quarterback here, man. And especially his style of play with guys you're seeing, the most paid guys in the league right now, and their athletic ability, that he has all those tools, all those intangibles to pan out to be a great one.
How quickly did you kind of was it pretty obvious off the bat?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, day one I seen it, you know what I'm saying? But also, like, seeing his development in 15 practices shows his growth and how good he can be.
And off of that, given the fact that obviously Spencer's going to be a starter this year, how important is it for Lenoris to not be expected to be like a freshman starter? He's going to have time to develop and sit and learn and maybe end up being the starter in his sophomore year or something like that.
For sure. And that's what I told him, man. I'm like, man, take this year to, compete, compete and learn, you know what I'm saying? But take this, this season to learn under a guy that's going to be NFL quarterback next year. Take it and just, soak as much up from him as possible. And, he leans on me a lot, too, for a lot of insight and stuff like that. So me and him, we're kind of locker buddies, too. So he leans on me a lot and, just kind of taking everything, man. So I try to tell him.
So I remember I went to a few of your games at Fort D in high school. Like I remember one against Dutch Fork where y'all won.
Yeah.
Defense played great that night, too.
Oh, yeah,
Dutch
for
Fork.
sure.
But you've gotten a lot bigger since then, just filled out,
Yeah.
So where are you at right now? That's several people actually asked that. What's your weight right now, and what's your target weight for the season? Like, do you feel like you need to gain a little bit more at running back?
No, I'm good right now.
Yeah.
I think bowl game I played at like 211, 212. I played bowl game. I'm 222 right now. A lot of people don't think that. People think I'm smaller than what I am, but yeah, I'm 222 right now. I don't want to drop below 220. So 220 is my goal weight for the year.
All right. Well, we thank you so much for joining us today to carry on, and we certainly wish you and your teammates best of luck in this upcoming season. We're excited to see what happens, and thanks so much for hanging out with us for a little bit.
Man. Thank you so much.
All right. That'll do it for today's edition of the Garnet Trust Hour. Coming up next is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs on 107.5 The Game.